It was an ordinary Thursday afternoon at a quaint little diner tucked away in the heart of New York City. Emma, a 26-year-old waitress, moved from table to table, her cheerful demeanor masking the exhaustion she felt after pulling double shifts for the past week. She had bills piling up, a sick mother at home, and a relentless dream of going back to college that seemed to grow dimmer by the day. The lunch crowd was beginning to thin, and Emma finally had a moment to catch her breath. That was when the door chimed and a tall young man walked in. Dressed casually in a navy hoodie and jeans, he didn't immediately stand out to her. She greeted him with the same warm smile she gave all her customers and guided him to a corner booth. "Hi, welcome to Delaney's. Can I get you something to drink?" she asked. "Just water for now, thanks," the young man replied politely. Emma noticed his voice was soft-spoken yet confident, with a hint of familiarity she couldn't quite place. Shaking off the thought, she handed him a menu and let him settle in. As the minutes ticked by, Emma realized the diner had gone oddly quiet. She glanced around and noticed several patrons whispering and sneaking glances at the young man. Confused, she decided to check on him. "Have you decided what you'd like?" she asked, her pen poised over her notepad. "I'll have the turkey club, no mayo, and a side of fries." "Thanks," he said, flashing a polite smile. Emma nodded, jotting down the order, but as she walked away, she caught snippets of the whispers from nearby tables. "Is that who I think it is? He looks so much like... Do you think it's really him?" Curiosity gnawed at her, but Emma pushed it aside. Whoever the young man was, he deserved his privacy. She focused on her work, ensuring his order was prepared perfectly. When she returned with his food, the young man looked up and thanked her sincerely. He ate quietly, scrolling through his phone and occasionally looking out the window. Emma couldn't help but notice how composed he seemed, almost too poised for someone his age. As he finished his meal, Emma brought over the check, placing it face down on the table. "Take your time," she said, her voice kind but professional. The young man nodded, pulling out a sleek black credit card. Emma processed the payment, and as she returned the receipt, she noticed something peculiar. Along with the signed check, there was a folded note resting beneath the empty water glass. "Thank you for everything," he said, standing up to leave. Emma nodded, her curiosity mounting as she watched him exit the diner. The whispers from the other patrons grew louder the moment he stepped out the door. Finally, she picked up the note, her hands trembling slightly. She unfolded it, and her heart skipped a beat as she read the words. "Your kindness doesn't go unnoticed. I overheard your story when you were speaking to your coworker earlier. Use this to help your mom and chase your dreams. The world needs more people like you. Barron Trump." Emma's eyes widened as she glanced at the signature and then at the check total. Her breath hitched. Beneath the neatly written note was a tip, $10,000. Tears welled up in her eyes and her legs felt weak. She clutched the note to her chest, overwhelmed by the unexpected act of kindness. She recalled the conversations she had with her coworker earlier about her struggles and dreams, never imagining someone would hear, let alone care. The whispers around the diner turned into murmurs of awe as Emma shared the story. Her coworkers and even some patrons were equally shocked by the young man's identity and generosity. As Emma stood there holding the note and check, she felt a glimmer of hope reignite within her. Maybe, just maybe, this was the turning point she needed. Emma stood frozen in place, the note trembling in her hands. She read it again, her eyes darting back to the figure who had just left. Peeking out the diner's window, she saw Barron Trump stepping into a sleek black car that idled near the curb. A chauffeur held the door open for him, and within moments he disappeared into the bustling streets of New York City. The diner buzzed with conversation. "Did you see how tall he is?" one patron whispered. "I can't believe it was really him," said another. Emma's coworker Carla rushed over, her eyes wide. "Emma, what's going on? Why are you crying?" Wordlessly, Emma handed Carla the note. As her coworker read it, her jaw dropped. $10,000? Are you kidding me? Emma, this is life-changing. Emma nodded, wiping at her tears. I don't even know what to say. He must have overheard me talking about Mom's medical bills. Carla threw her arms around Emma in a tight hug. "Girl, this is a miracle. You've been working so hard and you deserve this." As the reality of the situation sank in, Emma decided she needed to do something. She couldn't let the gesture go unacknowledged. She grabbed her phone and began typing out a heartfelt message to the diner's social media account. "Today, something incredible happened. A kind young man walked into our diner, and without even knowing me, he changed my life. Mr. Barron Trump, your generosity brought me to tears, and I'll never forget this moment. Thank you for reminding me that kindness still exists in this world." Emma posted the message, hoping it might somehow reach Barron. Hours passed and the diner gradually emptied out. Emma stayed late, finishing her shift with a newfound sense of hope. She couldn't stop thinking about how she would use the money, paying off her mom's hospital bills, fixing their old car, and maybe even enrolling in night classes to finally pursue her dream of becoming a nurse. By the time she got home, the social media post had gone viral. Her phone was flooded with notifications, comments, likes, and messages from strangers who were moved by her story. The next morning, Emma woke up to even more surprises. News outlets had picked up her post, and her story was spreading like wildfire. Reporters wanted interviews, and people across the country were praising Barron Trump for his act of kindness. Then, as Emma scrolled through her messages, one stood out. It was from an email address she didn't recognize, but the subject line made her heart race. From Barron Trump's office. She clicked on it, her hands shaking. "Dear Emma, Barron was deeply touched by your message and wanted me to personally reach out to ensure the money is used for your family's needs. If you need any assistance or have additional expenses, please don't hesitate to contact us. We're rooting for you. Best regards, Sarah Montgomery, assistant to Barron Trump." Emma burst into tears again, overwhelmed by the kindness she was experiencing. She quickly typed a reply, thanking them profusely and promising to use the money wisely. From that day on, Emma's life began to change. With the financial burden lifted, she was able to take care of her mother and focus on her future. She never forgot the young man who walked into her life on an ordinary afternoon and turned it into something extraordinary. And as for Barron Trump, he continued his quiet acts of kindness, knowing that sometimes, even a small gesture can make a world of difference. Emma's story became a beacon of hope for those who heard it. Her social media post inspired countless people to share their own experiences of kindness and generosity. Many commented that Barron's gesture reminded them of the good that still exists in the world, even when things seem bleak. With the newfound attention, the diner saw an influx of customers, eager to meet the waitress whose life had changed overnight. Emma used her platform to spread positivity, often reminding her followers to pay it forward in their own ways. Months later, Emma stood proudly at her nursing school orientation, her dreams finally within reach. Her mother's health had improved, and their family's financial struggles were now a thing of the past. Emma knew she had a long road ahead, but she faced it with gratitude and determination. As for Barron, his quiet act of kindness remained a mystery to most. But Emma would always remember the young man who sat in her corner booth and gave her the push she needed to rewrite her story. What's the kindest thing a stranger has ever done for you? Share your story in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Facts of Life for more heartwarming stories that remind us of the beauty in everyday moments.